Hi, I'm Chad with Turf Organics, and today we're going to go over everyone's favorite lawn weed, Dollarweed. Let's get right into the video. I'm sure by now, if you've lived in any warm season grass area, you know the weed Dollarweed very well. It's also known as pennywort, and it looks like this. I'm sure as most people already know, this is a very, very tough weed to get under control, and it's extremely invasive. Now, the first couple things to know is Dollarweed is a water weed. So where you have water, you're gonna most likely have Dollarweed. And that just doesn't mean ponds. That means any area of poor drainage in between the sides of the house where moisture sits and the grass thins. Dollarweed loves to come in and thrive. You take a look here in the pond, Dollarweed, look at this, is actually growing right in the pond. So if you think there's too much water for Dollarweed, you're wrong. But now also, we can see it there in the pond, but it also has made its way up to here on land, and it's in the lawn. And here's a big reason why Dollarweed is so problematic, because it has these things called tubulars, and here's a picture of them on screen so you can see what they look like. Now, Dollarweed really can really spread with these tubulars, but they can also grow a seed that looks like this. So that is the seed pod for Dollarweed, and it can grow by seed, but mainly you'll find it just randomly popping up under the ground by each other, and that's because it's coming from the tubulars underneath the ground. Now, let's say you live in an area by a pond or have a wet section in your lawn. Now, that's where the Dollarweed can start, but I'm sure you've seen Dollarweed in dry areas. Almost anywhere where anything can grow, Dollarweed is. And that's because with those tubulars under the ground, they share water and nutrients. So if the Dollarweed finds a good spot that it likes, plenty of water and good soil that it likes, it will spread that water share with the other Dollarweeds. All those Dollarweeds under the soil are connected. That's why they're pretty much impossible to pull up. It does need to be treated with a post-emergent herbicide. I have some goose friends who are going to join us for this video. Pre-emergence won't be very effective as well, because when it grows from those tubulars under the ground, it can pop up through that pre-emergent layer, because pre-emergence only stops seeds from germinating on top. Now, it will help because Dollarweed does have seeds, but it's not a fix. Also, pre-emergence don't work well in wet areas, and that's mainly where Dollarweed's gonna be at. So that's why all these factors fighting against you is why Dollarweed is so problematic. Now, some of the best things you can do to help prevent or get rid of Dollarweed is cultural practices. Of course, the number one thing is a thick turf. Best defense against weeds is a thick turf. So have your lawn as thick and healthy as possible. If you have any wet areas, poor drainage, no gutters on the side of your house, best thing to do would be get gutters, reroute the water, or fix your drainage issues, because you can treat these Dollarweeds all day, but if these wet conditions persist, so will the Dollarweed. Now, if you've taken care of those other things, the next best thing is to use a selective post-emergent herbicide to treat the weeds. I'm going to put a list of active ingredients that will work well on Dollarweed. So check through these active ingredients, and these are all good for warm season grasses. Now, also, I'm going to name one product in particular that I know works really well for St. Augustine turf, and that's a product called Avenue South. Now, it is 2,4-D, which you're not supposed to use on St. Augustine, but 2,4-D Avenue South uses can be used on St. Augustine turf. So that's why it's really confusing. Don't think every product that has 2,4-D you can use on St. Augustine. No matter what you hear from any professional or anything like that, make sure to always check the label yourself and that it has your turf grass on it, because it's very easy to get these things confused or mixed up. So now that you have most of that information about the Dollarweed, the next thing is gonna be acceptance. And Chad, what do you mean by acceptance? Is accepting you're almost always gonna have Dollarweed. It's a crazy thing, but once you have, especially a bad infestation of Dollarweed, you're almost always gonna have it, and it's always gonna pop up. The best thing you wanna do is manageable levels. If it's extremely invasive and throughout the lawn, you're gonna need to be consistently treating every 2 to 3 weeks to really get the Dollarweed under control, because you're gonna kill them off really well, but they're gonna keep coming back. And it's being consistently treating Dollarweed over time that really eradicates them. If you really wanna get rid of Dollarweed and tackle it, the number one goal is be consistent. consistent, and that's really the number one goal doing anything in your lawn. But to get rid of dollarweed, that's something you have to do. And then again, it's accept that you'll have some a little bit throughout the lawn, but it's leaving it to manageable levels. And what I mean by manageable levels is having a few in your lawn every couple of months. So we treat our customers' lawns 6 times a year. So our goal for our customers is by the time we come for our next application, you only have a few in the lawn that you may have to actually go through and search, but we let all of our customers know you're gonna have dollarweed. If we started them as a customer and they already had dollarweed, they're gonna still have it, but we wanna keep those levels low and manageable. So that way they don't invade the turf and start to choke out your grass. And remember, fix these wet areas and get your lawn as thick and healthy as possible. I want to always thank everyone for the support. I really appreciate it. Please leave any comments below with any questions or any future videos you'd like to see. I'm Chad with Turf Organics, and you have a great rest of your day.